So today's video is going to be about a dye that is actually new to my channel, and that is, I think it's Uberliss Bond Sustainer in the color Copper Fusion. So this dye is interesting because with most other semi-permanent dyes, they are a mixture of colors and conditioners. But this one also, like the name says, is a bond sustainer. So it's supposed to make your hair feel really healthy after you use it as well. So today I have my swatches labeled 1 through 12. That is not synonymous with hair levels. I will be doing things like close-ups and pictures at the end, so the numbers are just to help us keep track throughout the rest of the video. Number 1 is green, 2 is like a gray, 3 is unnatural red, 4 is black, and then from 4 to 11 is a range that goes to platinum blonde, and then number 12 is a toned version of number 11. I also did want to mention that these swatches are human hair, but most of them are not virgin hair. The only one that's virgin hair is going to be the number 4 black swatch. So I'll be taking the dye directly out of the bottle onto the top of each swatch. And then some people do like to dilute their dyes, so I'll be putting the diluted version at the bottom of each swatch. And just keep in mind too, everyone's hair is different, which means everyone's hair will take dye differently. So please just use my video as a reference as to what it could possibly look like on your hair. Doing things like strand tests and just research in general is always, a good idea. So for the diluted section, we're going to be doing a 2-to-1 ratio. So that is 2 parts diluter to 1 part dye. And in case you are wondering, I use just a plain white conditioner when I'm diluting my dyes. And if you're not sure what diluter is, essentially it kind of just lightens the color of the dye. And with this one, I was a little concerned. I wasn't sure if I could mix it with conditioner, but since it is part conditioner, I'm assuming that it's fine. It'll probably just lessen the strength of the bond sustainer as well. So now that the hair is drying, I'm going to let it sit for about 3 hours. I will rinse it out, and when it's dry, I will meet you back here. So as for color, I would say it dyed 1 through 3, and then 6 through 12. Number 4 is black, so it makes sense that 4 didn't take any color. And then number 5, there might be an undertone difference, but generally it still just looks like a really dark brown. So most semi-permanent dyes, if not all of them, are actually meant to be dyed on platinum blonde hair, but some of them are more pigmented and can dye darker hair as well. So I would say for this dye, 9 through 12 is my favorite personally. 7 and 8 look really good too, but the 9 through 12 all look a little bit more intense. So I only have one comparison today, and that is Lime Crime in the color Caramel, or Caramel, however you want to say it. This is comparable to number 1. This is comparable to number 12, 11, 10, and 9. So since the caramel is lighter on its own, I'm going to move it down so we can compare it to the diluted swatch. When I personally think of the color caramel, I think of like a goldeny brown, but this definitely is a lot more red than I imagine caramel being, which it's kind of funny actually, because if I think of the color copper, I think of something a little bit closer to this portion, but the copper fusion by itself is pretty red too. But anyways, I would say the caramel looks a little bit closer to a natural red, so it's not quite as intense as like even the diluted sections for copper fusion still hold a lot of like a red tone to them. The number 1 swatch is interesting on the direct dye portion. In person, it almost looks like some of the strands neutralized out, but then other ones held like a pinky tone, so it almost looks like a dark rose gold color. So on the number 8 swatch, it did dye, but it looks much more natural looking. The caramel by itself is a lighter dye and it's not as pigmented, so it definitely is better for lighter hair. If you have darker hair, the copper fusion might be a better option for you. Kind of just depends on your hair color and the color you want, considering the caramel looks a little bit more natural. Now that we're done with comparisons, I wanted to get into the close-ups. And I do just want to say the close-ups and everything that you'll see after will be shot in natural lighting, including the pictures at the end. I hope this video helped. If you have a request, I do have a link below to a Google form you can fill out. Just remember, I only do dyes that are not tested on animals. Thank you to my patrons, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.